Storytime of how my best friend got so weirdly obsessed with me that she even plotted to kill my boyfriend. So at the time, me and this girl, let's just call her Olivia, had only been friends for about 2 years. I mean, we really did everything together. We were with each other 24/7, and I mean, we were pretty good friends. But the only thing about our friendship is she did not like when I had other friends. I mean, she didn't have any other friends herself, but literally she would joke around about strangling my other friends because she didn't like when I gave my attention to anyone else. But honestly, I just thought of it as a joke. And then I started dating this guy, let's just name him Jacob. He was probably the sweetest guy I had ever met, and he was a real simp for me. So we started dating and about 4 or 5 months go by, and he started getting these texts from a random number. And it would always be cringy things like leave her or you die, get away from her, and like stupid cringy threats. Then one night, me and him were just hanging out. Then he gets a text with his exact address saying he had till tonight to leave me, or he wouldn't see another day. Then we hear a knock at the door. I'm running out of time, like for part 2. Part 2 of how my best friend got so weirdly obsessed with me that she plotted to kill my boyfriend. So continuing on with the story, we heard a knock at the door and it ended up being her. And she said, "Oh, I'm just coming by to check on you and make sure you're okay." Mind you, we were at his house. And he looks at me like, what is she doing here? So I asked her to leave, and then she ends up getting so mad at me just because I asked her to give us alone time. So the night goes on, and then when I get home, she's in my room. At this time, my whole entire family was out of town, and I was the only one home. So I was like, hey. It was literally just like a normal night, and then I go to shower, and when I get back out of the shower, she's gone. And then my boyfriend calls me. And he goes, "Why is Maddie here?" She had like this black mask on, but she's stupid enough to not realize that we know it's her. And I mean, we're being real here. She was my best friend at the time. So of course he's not going to call the police on her. But she had a knife in her hand. And he opens the door and he like pins her against the wall. And then calls 911, I guess. And then to sum it up, when they get there, she tells them everything that she was going to do. And then they put her in a mental hospital. But she said that she was going to murder everybody that gets close to her.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I don't actually like being touched. So how about you take your hand off of me, or I'll take your hand off of you.
So
I have to tell you this because of the way the situation. And on one side was the men's clothes, and on the other side was the women's clothes. Well, this guy was coming toward me as I was coming in, and he stopped me, and he says, "Hi." He goes, "You're a very beautiful woman." And he was good looking himself. He was kind of preppy, but he was good looking, and had curly hair. And anyway, that's how he dressed, kind of preppy like. Anyway, yeah, preppy. Don't you know how preppy? Yeah.
That's what people call me now.
Oh, really? Anyway, he says, would you go out for coffee with me? And I said, no. I said, I'm a married woman, and I'm in a hurry. So he said, he kept insisting. He kept on, and I said, no, I can't. I'm really in a hurry. I gotta go. And he said, I think I just threw him out. And I don't know where he went. I wasn't paying attention. I just went. I remember Earl was watching the boys for me. And I remember going straight to the back because I had a phone back there because I needed to call Earl for something. So I go straight back to the phones and called Earl. And as I was on the phone with Earl, here he is in his little MG.
Yeah, the MG sports car.
Pulled right up in front of the those doors where I was standing, and just sat there looking at me like I was going to come out and get in the car with him. There's no way I was going to go out and get in the car with him. And so I just got off the phone, turned around, went back inside the store. And then I was afraid to leave the store. And I didn't know it was Ted Bundy at the time. But later that week, or maybe that same week, later on in the week, there was news on, and they were talking about him and all the girls, because I had the long, dark, black hair.
didn't you say he was really persistent when you...
Yeah, he was very persistent. Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, I said he was very persistent. Kept on and on, wanting me to go for a cup of coffee, and I kept saying, no, I can't. I'm a happily married woman, and I don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I was afraid to leave when I was ready to leave because I didn't know if he was out in the parking lot just waiting, you know. So I think I asked one of the workers if they could walk out with me.
That's smart.
Yeah. So then I got in my car and I kept watching to make sure no one was following me because I didn't want him to know where I lived. So yeah, that's what happened.
When you saw him on the news and realized that was the guy, what was your reaction?
I said, "Oh my word!"
Did your jaw drop?
Yes, my jaw. I go, "Oh my goodness!" My jaw dropped, and I just could not believe that. I go, "Oh, that's the guy that tried to pick me up."
Oh my gosh. And what did Grandpa say?
And he said, "Oh, really?"
You would have been dead if Dad
Yeah,
would
I
have
would
been
have.
Oh, he would have.
I
Man.
was just, my heart started beating hard, and I go, "Oh, I could have been killed."
Oh my goodness.
If I would have been that kind of a girl that would have went with him.
Well, thank God you're faithful, Grandma.
Yes, amen to that.
I need commitment to safety. Salmon, some chicken, and we need a lemon, and an onion. Put onions on top, but you don't have to eat them. Gives it flavor. On what? Salmon. And I'll make some more potato salad.
We make USAA insurance for busy moms like Kate. She's a veteran made of flexibility to balance work, home, and
That street, which Grandma lives on.
Crazy story time about how I found my aunt and my boyfriend hooking up at a family function. So every year my mom and stepdad would have a Christmas party and everyone from both sides of the family would come. And I also invited my boyfriend. And at this time my boyfriend and I were both juniors in high school. So everybody came to the party and everything was going good. Well, like an hour into the party, all the adults were super drunk. So before we all opened gifts, I decided to help my mom clean up dinner. So while I'm washing the dishes, I look over and my aunt and boyfriend are talking a lot. And she started to get really touchy with him, but I didn't think anything of it because she was super drunk. So after I'm done cleaning up, we all start opening gifts. And my boyfriend goes up to my room to go get his phone off the charger. And after he went upstairs, my aunt was like, "Oh, I need to go throw up." So about 10 minutes goes past and my boyfriend's still up in the room grabbing his phone, so I went to check on him. And I walk upstairs to see my aunt and my boyfriend laying on my bed making out. Like for part 2. Part 2 to how I caught my aunt and my boyfriend hooking up at a family function. So like I said, they are laying on my bed making out. Doors wide open, they don't even bother to shut the door. And both of their shirts are off. And I think I should just put in here, my aunt is like 28. She's on my stepdad's side. She's really young. So they look up and my aunt's just like drunk as fuck looking at me. And she's like, "Do you want to join?" Like, bitch, what the fuck? So I'm just like shook and I start screaming. Everybody rushes up the stairs and my mom pushes me out of the way and sees my boyfriend and my aunt laying on my bed with their shirts off. So my mom starts screaming at everybody. So my mom calls the cops, says that an adult is touching an underage boy, and she calls his mom, tells her what happened. So my boyfriend and I broke up, so that spread around the whole school, and word got out that they actually started seeing each other.
Yeah, nobody can take away the things we share. Hope you don't mind how I need you like the air. The way I love you, they don't understand. And it's crazy how you're my best friend. You're always in my mind, let's dance to the rhythm of your heartbeat. The way I love you, they don't understand. And it's crazy how you're my best friend. You're always in my mind, let's dance to the rhythm of your heartbeat. Dance with me, 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 dance with me. Oh my love, can you dance dance with me, yeah.